Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me, as always, is my co-host from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Rebellious _ D23. D, what is up?
Hey, brother, ready to rock and roll, man. Get into this Stargirl.
That's right. And this is Stargirl Season 2, Episode 2, Chapter 2, Summer School. So before we get in today's review, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.
Podcast in the description. Like, follow, subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.
That's right. That's right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Bro, like this episode was really good. Stargirl, now that Superman and Lois is over for the season, I'm glad that we have the second best show on the CW on right now. So that way it gives us something to hold us over until whatever's the next show that's going to come out, which I believe it is The Flash season 8. And, you know, luckily for us that do have other streaming apps like HBO Max, we're going to be getting season 3 of Doom Patrol. And then also too, we got Titans on right now. So
correct.
I'm just happy that we do have options out there to watch other shows, but this is about Stargirl. It picks up after the events of the last week's episode where Jenny and Courtney, they're fighting in the house, and you know, Pat and Courtney's mom, they're mad. Barbara, they're mad because the kitchen is destroyed, and Courtney's just like, well, she broke into our house. Like, I don't understand like why you guys are upset with me. It's like if she really wanted to come in here, all she had to do was just knock on the door. Well, I mean, like in Jenny's defense, I mean, like it's like 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Like who's gonna be up at that time? You know what I'm saying, D? So
exactly.
You know, it was cool finally, you know, knowing that this is Jenny, because we didn't know who she was in last week's episode. And we find out that she is Alan Scott's daughter, the first Green Lantern in this universe. And it's just awesome to finally see a Green Lantern again. Like we haven't had a live action Green Lantern since the Ryan Reynolds movie. And that movie is supposed to be coming out to Netflix in September. I was looking at the coming soon stuff on Netflix and I saw Green Lantern up there. And D, how much you want to bet that movie is going to be trending when it comes out? Because a lot of people didn't watch it. And I mean, for rightfully so.
Yeah, for good reason. I definitely agree with you. It's very nice to get a Green Lantern added to the CW lineup. And Jenny's a very likable character as far as we know. So, you know, we later in the episode, you do find out what she's actually trying to do with the ring / lantern. So I liked it. I like where it's going.
Yeah, I to piggyback off of what you said, like I love her energy. I love how you know, eager she is, and you know, just she's kind. You know what I'm saying? Like she's happy to finally, you know, be around other people, especially people who are like her. She knows about the JSA because of who her father was. Like how you said, she's trying to find her brother. She got the ring after you know, she was kicked out of the home that she was at, because it's like once you reach a certain age, they have to, you know, let you go. And you know, she pretty much just went on a journey to find the lantern charger. Now, what's interesting about Jenny is that she also is a charger, because Pat was like, you know, the ring, of course, you know, it's like a battery and it has to be charged, but she was able to keep the ring charged the entire time since she had it. Also, too, at the start of the episode, we saw the Dragon King. We saw his wife. She was dancing. She was having a good time. She was celebrating. And then all of a sudden, Cindy shows up. And she was just like, you thought you was free. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, Cindy, she does have the jewel that is, I want to say that is the shade that is in the shade, right? Or is the shade, or is the jewel something else?
I think the jewel is something else. That's on some Tarragon type stuff. Yeah, because the shade is Richard Swift.
Yes, Richard Swift.
Yes,
so,
I thought him in the diner.
Okay, so the jewel, let me look it up real quick, but
I don't think they've given us a name for it yet.
Yeah, I think it's just
I'm pretty sure it's obviously a different entity.
That's right. They showed it at the end of season 1. They said it's a life essence trapped inside a gem that Cindy obtains,
and it feeds off of sinfulness.
Yes, and like that's something that I wanted to bring up because we see that the first time that the jewel is activated is, you know, back in the 50s, where the girl, she ends up stealing something, and the jewel, it takes her soul.
Pennywise was over there. I was like, what's going on? I was like, what is this, Nebolt Street? Oh, Jesus.
And I mean, and then the same thing happens with Cindy's stepmom when she tries to kill Cindy. And because that's a sin, like, and I feel like what's going to happen is, for the 7 deadly sins, like, the jewel is going to, you know, get all of them. It already has 2 right now, but once it gets the rest of them, then whatever is inside of that jewel will come out of the jewel. But we see that the jewel is in some way is bonded with Cindy, and like it can take over her body at times. And
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But to, you know, touch on what you were saying about Mr. Swift. See, because I thought that Mr. Swift, the Shade, because I mean, because he's the Shade, and then, you know, the jewel. I mean, it looks like it's.
Yeah, I think that the jewel will end up carrying over to season 3. That's just what I'm thinking. I think that Richard Swift is going to end up being this season's main villain, and
of course,
the jewel. I think the jewel will carry over to the next season, whatever it is. You know, we're still to be announced, but I'm pretty sure the Shade is the Green Lantern's original villain. That was before like Lantern Corps and all that stuff. So we'll see. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you already know that with this show. I mean, the JSA in general, it's like they're pretty old school.
Yeah, it's very
at least
old
in
school.
this universe. So, you know, just with some of the certain references that we see and whatnot. So, and then of course Alan Scott, who was the original Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying?
I just think that
compared to Hal Jordan, who came years later. But
just
also
to piggyback real quick, Banks. Just on what you're saying, you know, the JSA is a very old comic book.
Yes.
You know, set of comics. And then I'm pretty sure the premise then was the Lantern was light and Shade was dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's just
that does make sense.
And then it just kind of developed into different because they do mention too that whatever emotion she's giving off of, you know, the Lantern picks up on that, whether it's anger and all that. And this is way before the different cores. So
and that's pretty interesting because you know, with the Green Lanterns, it's like theirs is what, hope, or is it will?
No, hope is blue. Willpower.
Okay, so
and yellow is fear. Red is fear.
Anger. Yep.
Yellow. Orange is greed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And then blue is hope.
Yeah, so
I think that was all.
With her, because she is pretty much the Lantern, like the Lantern, it explodes in the episode, and that's how she finally gets all of her powers, and now she is the Green Lantern.
Yep.
And she can fly now. Like, it's crazy because Courtney, she didn't trust her because she's the new girl in town, and you know, Courtney wanted what she had, because that's how Courtney was in season 1. Like, she wanted Starman. Was it? Is it Starman? I was gonna say Starboy. Yeah, she wanted Starman to be her father, but it was revealed that he wasn't her father. Whereas with Jenny, Alan Scott is her dad, and you know, at first, you know, Courtney, she doesn't trust her. She thinks that she may be somebody else, but by the end of the episode, she apologizes for her actions, and she's a member of the team. But then she leaves. She leaves before everybody wakes up. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when we see Jenny again. Yep. Also, too, Rick, you know, like we saw it on last week. He's feeding Solomon Grundy, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. We didn't really get a lot of Beth in this episode, because I feel like, you know, we got a lot of her in the first episode because you know, her parents are going through a divorce and whatnot. She's still trying to get the goggles to work. And at the end of the first episode, we saw that they are working again. I mean, like, they're working, but she wants the original Dr. Midnight to come back, and he does come back, but he's like, I don't know who you are. So it's going to be interesting to see like what's going to play out next. Cindy, she still is trying to form the new JSA.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to touch on too, because we do have the introduction. We know that Cindy has the stone, which has some living entity in it, but then you also have the shade, and then you also have Cindy trying to assemble her own new injustice. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it too.
Yeah, same here, because then we're going to get the JSA versus the ISA. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting seeing that when it comes down to it.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing like what's going to happen on this season, man, because again, this is only the second episode, and it was a really good episode. So D, what are your final thoughts on the episode, and what's your final rating for it?
My final thoughts on episode 2, season 2, episode 2 is keep it coming.
Yeah.
I'm liking where it's going. It's still early to call anything, but I like the action we've gotten so far, like where the story's going. A lot of loose ends that we'll need to tie up. Yeah, I'm ready to rock, man. I want to see what happens with Rick as far as he's been skipping summer school.
Yeah. And
just kind of like chilling.
Hanging with his zombie friend.
Yeah, just hanging out with Grunt. So I don't know if I feel like he might get snatched up. We got that first person POV. That's supposed to be Solomon, but what if it's not? There's a lot of bad guys. It could be Michael. So, and what were your final thoughts on the episode?
I enjoyed it, man. It was just cool seeing another Green Lantern. I mean, they've mentioned him before on the CW. I believe on Crisis on Infinite Earths, I believe that there was like somebody in a Green Lantern outfit that was laying down on the ground when Barry Allen, the Flash from Earth 90, was running away from the Anti-Monitor. But then it's been mentioned before too, where he saw John Diggle and he was just like, hey, John, like, why don't you have your ring on? So on his Earth, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's just cool to finally see another Lantern again. I do believe too that we've seen one in the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, and originally there was one in Justice League, the not the Joss Whedon cut, but all you just saw was some green. You didn't actually see somebody. So I love Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool character, especially Jon Stewart. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next with Jenny. Also, too, we still have Starman. He's back. So it's going to be interesting to see like what happens when he finally makes it to Blue Valley.
Yep.
And what's going to happen when him and Pat, when they see each other again, like, is he going to want the staff back? It's just so many things that I want to see, and I know we're going to get the answers to it. So D, what's your final rating for the episode?
I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10. Okay. Keep it coming. Keep it
same.
coming. It's still early. I don't want to go too far out there, but it was solid. Banks, you?
Yeah, same. 7 out of 10. Like you said, just keep on keeping it coming. I mean, because like Stargirl, just like we said with Superman and Lois,
yes,
the episodes, they don't disappoint. Like season 1, there was not a bad episode. Like when you finish an episode, you're just like, okay, I can't wait to watch the next one. And luckily with season 1, like it dropped all at once on HBO Max, so we didn't have to wait for it. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this week's episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What you're expecting to happen on some of the future episodes. D, let them know where they can find you at in social media land.
You can find me at rebellious_D23 at Instagram.com. And Banks, if Blue Valley needs one more hero, tell them where they're going to find you at.
You can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching our review. Make sure that you check out some more of our reviews, interviews, and reaction videos that we do have here on the channel. Also, our podcast, we have new episodes every Tuesday, and the video of that episode is here on YouTube that Friday. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. podcast. We got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.